What a choice I now had. I could live or I could die. When I speak to organizations, I first talk about what happened to me. I was too weak to even pick up a knife and slit my wrist. You've got to understand the severity of how your life can change and how quickly it can change. And I did what it took to regain my balance, and I scrambled to my feet and ran out of that garage as fast as I could, burning from head to toe. There's no going back. My life has changed 99.9% since my accident. Why does this chain always fall off the track? Not only has my looks and my hands and my physical appearance, everything changed. I had to start all over. You fell off the tracks. Typical day back when I was working as a flooring installer was go, go, go. I was the number 2 guy on the crew of about 15 men. The day of my accident was April 24th, 2003. I was 29 at the time. I was working with a chemical, and it ended up that the vapors gathered enough in the house to create an explosive environment, and sure enough, when the furnace turned on, the vapors ignited and the house exploded, and I was in the middle of it. The fumes from the fire required so much oxygen, and that was sealing the door shut. I knew I was in a fire, but I didn't know why the doors were opening. I didn't know why I had to be there. I didn't understand why it had to be me. All I really knew was I gotta get out, and I couldn't.
Spencer had a large burn that was over 90% of his total body surface area, and bad inhalational injury. We weren't sure really whether he was in a situation where he could recover.
He also told me I had a 5% chance to survive this accident. And then he gave me the option to live or die. And it was really because if I wasn't willing to fight to live, there was nothing he could do for me.
I had a hard time walking in the door. I was shaking and I needed help to walk in, and I sat down beside him. That was the hardest day of my life, especially sitting there not knowing what was going on.
I spent 9 months in the university hospital where I underwent 26 surgeries. The pain was a constant factor, and I did not believe that I would ever walk again or I'd ever get myself dressed again. So my motivation limit was very, very low. At that moment, I realized that I could either give in to the burns and suffer the rest of my life and be depressed and angry and never get over it, and that would all be reflected onto my daughter, or I could give my daughter the life she deserved. When I was in the hospital, they told me I was never going to be able to get a career again because I was so hurt. I was told I might never walk again. So when I started to do those things again, I realized that, you know, it's really what I put my mind to that I can do. So it's becoming quite diverse. I've spoken to healthcare nurses, to rehab nurses.
I saw him first about 2 years ago, and at that time he was referred to us to develop a new career option. A lot of people that have some kind of disfigurement may shun away from any kind of position that would put them in front of the public. But he strongly believes he has a message to portray to the public, and I think that's a huge motivator for him.
And I'm going to tell you today what did happen to me. I promise you I'm going to tell you a story you will never forget. And these hands used to be so skilled. They were very talented. Usually it's a second. You fall, boom. You break a couple legs or your hip or your back and your life has changed. It's not so much that how quick your life can change or even how your life can change. It's that you won't be prepared for it and you will have to learn how to deal with it. I found myself in the middle of this fire, now on the edge of death.
It brings up the fact that there's a big cost when you don't take heed and, you know, pay attention to safety procedures.
If it's a bigger issue past that work site, then they're protecting more workers than that.
He is, like many severely burned patients, an individual who will continue to have to live with the scars and the psychological trauma that comes his way.
I learned how to forgive myself, and the pain, by working through it, has gone away. I'm gonna win! I'm gonna win! Oh, you did!
It's great to watch Rose Funter together because I never knew if he was going to be around to watch her grow up, and to see them together it's great.
I'm gonna give him a hug. When I look at the story of going through a fire and surviving the smallest chances to live and all that, that's definitely an inspiration. I just never thought it would be coming from me. I win!